tonight to do the city's business, allow us to make all the right decisions that we need to make this city move forward and continue on as it is. Your Lord, in your Son's name we pray. Amen.
City Council meeting for the month of August 2017, please come to order. Will you please silence your cell phones? And Rebecca, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And will you please call roll?
Mr. Foster, Mr. Short.
Here.
Mr. Lynn.
Here.
Ms. Griffin.
Here.
Mr. Muse.
Here.
Ms. Prince.
Here.
Ms. Warren. Here. Ms. Williams.
Present.
Mr. Lay.
Here.
And Ms. Prince. Here.
Let the record show we have a quorum. Next item on the agenda, waive the reading and approve minutes as presented on July City Council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Ann?
Mr. Lay.
Yes.
Ms. Williams.
Yes.
Ms. Warren.
Yes.
Ms. Prince.
Yes.
Mr. Muse.
Yes.
Ms. Griffin.
Yes.
Mr. Short.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item is approval of the payments journal for the month of July. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Ann?
Ms. Griffin.
Yes.
Ms. Prince. Yes. Ms. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Lay.
Yes.
Ms. Warren.
Yes.
Mr. Muse.
Yes.
Mr. Short.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item is approval of street sanitation, general, community center O&M, and miscellaneous funds for the month of July. Entertain a motion to accept as presented.
Move to accept.
Second.
Ann?
Mr. Short.
Yes.
Mr. Muse. Ms. Warren.
Yes.
Mr. Lay.
Yes.
Ms. Williams.
Yes.
Ms. Prince.
Yes.
Ms. Griffin.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item, if you have your supervisors' reports in your packets. Are there any questions for the supervisors? We'll stop and let council come in.
Not me. You have to drop off some cards?
You okay?
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay. Any discussion on supervisors' reports? Any questions? Next item, old business. We had, I don't see Representative Miller here. He was going to come speak with us a little bit on the internet sales tax and give us a little bit of his thoughts and where he stood. But I don't see him here. He may be coming in a little bit, so we'll put him off till the open mic. New business. We have a little bit of housekeeping. We need the council to approve some applications and rental deposits for Spring Park and Sandy Beach Pavilions. Let's see, I think y'all have those in your packets. Stacy, would you like to address the council on?
Sure. What we're trying to do, or what we've been trying to do, a lot of, like, for instance, the amphitheaters and that, they're borrowing our keys and stuff like that. They don't bring it back. They'll want to use the facility or whatever, and we just don't get them back. So by putting this in that we come up with here on this $20 deposit, which they do get that back when they do bring our keys back, and that has worked when we have them off any keys. So when they have their money involved in that a little bit, that actually lets us get our keys back and property back, and then we know that it's walked back up and it's taken care of. But sometimes, they just will not bring the keys back. There are times that we have kept $20. If they don't bring it back within the 5 days there and there, I keep the money. So they have 5 days to bring the keys back from that event or whatever they're using that facility for at that time.
And that's for the band shell and the amphitheater.
That's correct.
Our other business that we have to take care of is the rental forms for the
The pavilions at Spring Park and
pavilion at Spring Park.
and
We have,
Beach.
we have a farmer's market, and that fee is $50 a year for each vendor. And how many vendors do we have?
We have actually 10.
10.
So we made $500 on them this year. Plus, we have moved the pavilion at Spring Park already to the Methodist Church. And we've actually had them cut us a check twice, and we've made $550 off them. And they've actually reserved the actual pavilion, which they really like because they actually have it, and no one can come in with a birthday party or something, and they split, they actually have it for that event. And it's a lot easier for us, then we don't have a lot of miscommunication going on. Because we've had people just show up on events and just take over the pavilion, and it's just been a nightmare. When somebody's trying to have an event or have a birthday party or whatever, somebody just might show up out of the blue and just think, well, it's mine, they use it, it's really hard. So by us doing that has actually helped a lot by, isolating that down.
Is there signage at the
We are,
pavilion?
we're going to, I'm gonna put up, the sign, we do have it at Sandy Beach in there, but I don't at, Spring Park yet.
Did you say that we made $550 off rental of the pavilions at Sandy Beach?
No, it's Spring Park.
At Spring Park,
The
okay.
Methodist Church had actually, the first round, they actually used it, they used it 10 times, 10 Thursdays, and then they just did it again, came in and did another 10 to sometime in August.
Oh, okay. I thought you said they used it twice and we made $500.
No, 10
It's
times.
$25 a fee. I was confused, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 10
And
times.
then the farmer's market's the same pavilion,
Right.
and so the
They're
farmer's
all
market
Wednesdays.
is $500 with 10 of them.
And then we've had roughly around $400 in miscellaneous people there, but between them two, it's been $900.
Well, to handle this, we're gonna have to take Sandy Beach Pavilion and Spring Park Pavilion, on those two. I think we can do those together.
Yeah, they're together on the same sheet. They just have to
And,
circle which one they're gonna do.
We have a motion to accept these fees and rental and the deposits.
I'll make a motion, we approve the application process for A and B, which is Sandy Beach and Spring Park. Oh, well, here, you got band shell in there, there's a C also.
Yeah, that's actually supposed to be on the one.
Those are gonna be just for the
So we'll
key.
do it, we'll do A and B.
Those will be,
Yeah, we'll do A and B.
Yeah.
A and B, and then the band shell amphitheater is just the key
All
deposit.
right, so my motion will be for Sandy Beach Pavilion and Spring Park Pavilion.
Okay,
Second.
any discussion? Ann?
Mr. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Short?
Yes.
Ms. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Muse?
Yes.
Ms. Prince?
Yes.
Ms. Warren?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item is the application for the use of the band shell and the amphitheater. There's not a, normally those are big civic events that we work with people. It's not a, those are not facilities that are used for anything personal normally. And so what we do is we just require a deposit on the keys. And that way we're finally getting our keys back, right,
Yes,
Stacy?
yes,
And
we
so, and they, we store some things in the back of the amphitheater, nothing that's got any value, but there's some things back there that we really want to protect those keys, that we get them back and that they're not given to other people. So this is just an application for the use of the band shell, amphitheater, and for the deposit, was it 20 or 25?
$20 on it.
$20 deposit on the key, on the keys.
Are folks cleaning up after themselves when they're using those?
Yes, and that does help a little bit too, when you charge them to have a little more invested in it.
Okay.
So they're taking a little more pride in it. Before they wasn't, they were just trashing and leaving it out where it was. every many times we go into the pavilion and they would just throw their cakes and everything all over the place, and we usually have to power wash that, but now when we're doing it, they have a little more, because they have $25, but on the keys, why, we do get that back.
Well, my question was, should we add in language that if it's not cleaned up and restored to the condition it was in, should we keep their deposit? But if it's not a problem, then.
No, we haven't had a problem with that yet.
Not with the band shell.
No. Or, yeah, or they have to.
So did we ask for a motion on that deposit? Yeah. Okay. Do we have a motion?
Yes, I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Ann?
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Ms. Prince. Yes. Ms. Griffin.
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Short,
Yes.
Mr. Muse.
Yes.
Ms. Warren,
Yes.
Mr. Lay.
Yes.
Okay, we took care of the farmer's market prior to.
No.
No.
Should have a farmer's market.
Okay.
Separate?
Next item is application for the use of the farmer's market pavilion. This is for the vendors in the farmer's market, that they pay $50 each, and that's for the season. And the season consists of what, Stacy?
Basically, they've got, from March through June, and then they'll come off, and then they'll have another one here in September for a couple of months, and then that's it. But basically, it covers the whole season, which is the year.
How's that been working?
It's been great, it really has.
I know Cersei, I know their downtown network person, they put a farmer's market together and it took them 7 years to get it right. It just had, there's a lot of issues with, you know, what type of things are grown, and if they're local or they're not, and the health department. So we've got a good group of vendors, and it seems to be working pretty well.
Right, and I go by and check on them because we've had some that's tried to, you know, sneak in, which, you know, you've got a vendor sitting there that's paying $50 for the year, and then somebody else is trying to sell across the street or right here, and, you know, or on the premises there, we can't, you know, allow that because it's just, it's not fair to them because they're paying the money, but.
And some of that we're gonna have to work out as time goes on,
Yeah.
because,
But it's been working out.
yeah.
I've got one question.
Sure.
Okay, I noticed that, meat products must be frozen in the freezer, but how many receptacles do you have? that-
There are 4 in that pavilion.
4?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And we do allow just the small one that's in there that they can bring, but they'll usually have it, it's all vacuum sealed and it has to be USD approved. I mean, they have to have it stamped on there. And then I'll go down and look at it. If it's not, then we don't let them sell it at all because it's not approved. And I did all that research on there when we had to put this together to make sure, because there were certain items we just don't want to have there because it's really risky. Eggs is one of them, and that was pretty high risk on doing the egg.
Do we have a motion to, for the application of the use for the farmer's market, for the season, the $50 fee?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you.
Ann?
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Lay,
Yes,
Ms. Warren,
Yes.
Ms. Prince,
Yes.
Ms. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Muse.
Yes.
Mr. Short,
Yes.
Mr. Foster.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item is sale of a fixed asset, 2006 Vermeer brush chipper that we have at Public Works. It's the model number is a BC 1238A. It's a 2006. It's got about 6,100 hours on it. We've got running, well, we have 3 of them down there, and this is the middle one. We've got one that's older and one that's virtually new that we got a couple years ago on a grant process. But we've had some interest in a few people that want to purchase this. We don't use these chippers since we went to a grapple truck to pick up a lot of limbs and leaves. That these chippers, now we will need them in a storm when we have a lot of trees and limbs down, but we do have a new one, and we do have another one, so it, not just this item, there's several pieces of equipment at Public Works that we need to, we've been waiting on the county sale down at the jail or the courthouse down there, and that's not an annual sale, I don't guess. I kept thinking it was an annual event they had, but we haven't seen that happen in over 12 months. And so this is, anyway, we have somebody interested in it. It will be sealed bids, and we will have a reserve that's placed on it. I won't tell you what that reserve is, so our bidders won't know. It's a, like I said, it's an operating machine, and we, but it's just something that we don't need. We don't need an extra one, so that's monies that we can use other places. Do we have a motion to remove the Vermeer brush tripper from fixed assets?
I'll make a motion, we put that item out for sealed bid and remove it from the asset list.
Okay.
We'll take care of F and G.
Okay.
Second.
So we're gonna take care of 6 and 7 there. Item 6 and 7, I don't know what it is on your list. University, F and G. Yeah. We can do both those sometime. Okay. We have a second? Did we?
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hank?
Mr. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Short?
Yes.
Ms. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Ms. Prince?
Yes.
Ms. Corn?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item is, y'all have this packet, this information on the Fireman's Pension Board, the retirement fund status. John, I can read this cover page that you sent us. Or
That pretty well,
it really sums it up.
yeah, it's
And
pretty well.
if you want to read that, that's fine,
No,
or
you go ahead.
we
And
have-
if they have questions, Steve and
I'll
I.
tell you what, I'll get one of the members here to just read my highlighted, or I'll read it. The Arkansas Local Police and Fire Retirement System, which is LOPFI, the city's fire pension fund was receiving funds from the state insurance turnback money and fire department active members' contribution matched by the city. The monthly benefits paid, now were about $4,700. The city still receives a millage, I'm breaking this down, I'm not reading it all, John, of a 0.3 for the original local police retirement fund, and the police retirees receive a 3% cost of living adjustment. The fire department did not receive the same millage, and the fire department retirees and spouses have never received COLA, which is cost of living adjustment. The pension board requested a valuation from LOPFI to see what the cost would be for them to take over administration of the local fire department pension. Including, you will find their report for a 15-year plan and a 25-year plan, both with and without the cost of living allowance. The pension board recommends the city to pass a resolution to assign local plan administration to LOPFI with a 3% cost of living allowance to match the police plan as per the included documents. We've got a lot of documents here, John.
Your second page should have the numbers on it that you're looking for.
You want to, John, do you want to come and present? Do you want to come to the podium?
Okay. For y'all that don't know me or maybe don't remember me, I'm John Evans. I served like 32 years on the fire department, retired as your assistant fire chief, and Steve Hell with what, 29 years? 28 years. Steve was your fire chief up until Chief Cothran took over in 07. Chief Hell is the only paid fireman on this plan. All the other members are volunteers. But
And John, aren't there a total of 15?
15,
Yeah.
5 spouses, and then 10 fire department members. Another key note I didn't put in here is when the fire department member quantity is down to 5, the state's going to take it over anyway, which your police fund has already been taken over. But the numbers, let's see if I can find it here. You should have a sheet from the Arkansas Local Police and Retirement Fund. If you can see it. Everybody got this one that's got the numbers on it?
Yes.
On the second page.
Yeah.
There should be the second page if everything's in order. But we requested the consolidation report from the state. In this report we got just a few weeks ago, and they break it down into a 15-year schedule and a 25-year schedule for the paid and the volunteers separately. So again, Steve's the only one that's on the paid service, and the other 14 are volunteers and spouses. So you'll see under the paid service for a 15-year without cost of living, it's 0. With the 3% cost of living, it's $833. And then for a 25-year, again, it's 0, and it's $594 with the 3% cost of living adjustment. And then for the volunteers, monthly rate without the COLA, it's $149. With a COLA, it's $1,146 for the 15-year. And then for the 25-year for the volunteers, $110 without the COLA, and $845 with the COLA. So those two, that sheet is your main sheet that you're looking at. Everything else is a lot of numbers that I have to be old rocket science to understand it.
Mortality rates, yes.
But this is I'm sure most of you guys probably weren't aware of this pension fund. It's something that's was done before Steve and I got on the department. I don't know when it was created. It had to be in the 60s or 70s.
And it had been prior to that because Leo was withdrawn with 25-year service.
Well,
He retired.
Evan Alexander was drawing slick, so Slick
Yeah.
Alexander,
I
so
mean,
that's
there's
tell you
people
how
that have
far back
gone
it goes.
since the 60s.
And then
We've had some widows that have grew for almost 50 years.
Then in the early 80s, there's a number of cities that were in critical trouble with their retirement plans, and Governor Clinton at the time set up this Lafayette program, and they basically took our funds to supplement the Lafayette program. So, but as you can tell, if you get into this and look at the numbers, the fund is really going down, and as it gets lower, it's going to be like a snowball effect, and we're going to be in trouble here in a few years. If you've got any questions, go ahead and ask me or Steve.
Yeah, your valuation of the assets at the end of 2011 were $729,000, and I see where in 2016 the assets are worth about $521, and so.
And this isn't a decision you have to make tonight, but if you do elect to assign the administration to Lafayette, we've got to have a resolution done to Lafayette by the end of October. So we got another council meeting, you might say. In that packet is the resolution form that the state wants, but they want it on the original copy, which I have.
Are spouses covered under this?
Yes, and on my cover sheet, the spouses are listed. The very first sheet lists the pension board members and the other retired firemen as well as the spouses.
We discussed spouses before the meeting started, because I had a question about, for example, say Steve Hale would decide to get a 25-year-old wife tomorrow, would she be able to draw his pension? And basically the answer is no. It is the spouse at the time of retirement. So, you know, no, it's not gonna be the case. So, you know, we're just gonna be dealing with them and their spouses that they have now.
I would think that Robbie's the youngest.
And we'll have to get
Person
his
draw.
situation clarified,
Yeah.
because he and her are no longer married.
So I don't know that she'll be eligible anymore.
But we'd have to go back, we'd have to get our
Yeah.
council to go back to the state law and go through the book about what they can.
This
Yeah, all this is regulated by state law.
Yeah,
It's not.
Right.
And it's
local
going to,
rules.
the good thing about going to Lafayette is right now we have to have a 5-member pension board. We have to have semi-annual meetings. The mayor's got to come to it. We've got to pay $1,500, about $1,500 a year for an audit. We also have to pay administrative fees. I'm not sure what that is, but all that's coming out of this fund, this pension fund.
And so it wouldn't come out of there if you're on lobby.
If you're lucky.
No, we basically give them the money and then the city will have to pay.
Once we pay this amount, we're done. City's done.
Right.
They're gonna pick it up at that point.
If you elect not to do anything and want to put it off a year, then we have to request another consolidation report, and that was $750. So,
Okay.
So what will this cost the city?
well, that's your second page
Yeah.
with these monthly rates.
Yeah, those are monthly rates, yes.
These are monthly rates. This is a charge in addition to what we're already paying out for.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah, what you're paying the local, like Link's pension fund with now, the insurance turnback money, prior to Lofty, all that money went into this plan, that's how it was funded. But when they came up with Lofty, they started, every time we replaced, a guy retired, we got somebody that went on Lofty, we lost that income in the pension plan. And that's really what put us in this situation is dwindled income, but we have no income anymore. Other than investments, which obviously haven't been very good. We've been in a program for 10 years, I guess, a little long. No, it's been longer than that, because it was before I retired, with Stevens through the Municipal League, which has actually managed our money. It's a program Municipal League came up with. David and I actually went to the PRB and got it approved for it to be managed, and that's probably been 15 years ago. And it's helped because prior to that, Norman just put everything in a CD. You know, and when interest rates got low, that was just killing us. We had to do something.
And I don't know if they'll work with us on a timeline to pay this, whether we stretch it out, you know, this, if we wanted to do a total amount, we'd stretch it out. Oh, we were talking about that earlier. I don't know how.
I'm sure they would still go
States.
along some.
States.
It would probably be less money because they're gonna return investment over that 25-year period.
Right. But this states, like I said, there's a lot of numbers in here, a lot of formulas that we need to look at, we need to talk, we need to speak with you guys.
Yeah, we just want to get it where I'm not sure when your budget starts,
Well,
planning
it's gonna
starts.
start next month, so.
Okay, we wanted to
Yeah.
get this in your hands for that.
Yeah.
But we have to do something at the end of October.
Right.
But we can hand
Right.
this over to Lot Fee without an additional cost. It's the cost of living adjustment that would result in additional
Yeah,
cost.
And where that affects me, my pension check today is the same that it was 10 years ago, which inflation's not been horrible, but I buy a lot less with that retirement check than I did 10 years ago. You know, in another 20 years, it won't be worth much. If I don't get a cost of living increase.
Can we
Enough,
have
and
special
during
meeting
that
on this?
stretch of time I worked for the city, I paid no social security.
I think that's.
Because this fund was exempt,
And let-
the city match, put my social security match into the pension fund rather than paying social security on me. So I've got a gap in my social security coverage too.
This says that the contribution rates will be used through 2018. Does that mean after that we have to redo this again?
I don't think
No.
we have to redo it, but they may adjust, you know, if the members, if a lot of the members are no longer living, you know, they very
They
well
may.
could take it down some, I would
Yeah.
assume.
Yeah, that's calculated on the average lifespan.
What I'm suggesting is that we have a special meeting and y'all come in where we can pick apart and, get everything as clear as we can possibly get it, where we can do the best for you we can possibly do.
Yeah.
Good with that, you done?
Yeah, I mean, that's why we're here
Yeah.
is before it becomes a big fire that we have to be put out.
Yeah, we got kind of a short timeline here before the next meeting, and
Yeah.
this is not exactly, it's pretty complicated.
Yeah.
You know, and we're a small city, but I've dealt with a lot of larger fire departments and what I've done the last 10 years, and there's some cities
Second week.
in trouble.
I think I'm off. First
They were
week of
talking
September.
Fayetteville about
I'm going.
Fayetteville writing a check for 25 million. And they're in trouble.
Second week in September.
I just threw out the first week of September, Jimmy said he probably wouldn't be available. You're saying that, how about the beginning of the second week of September?
That would be perfect.
Do that,
Yeah.
whatever that calendar week is. Let Lisa remind us by email with one to John and one to Steve.
Second week September, right?
And when you bring that back, John, on aid or paid volunteer, total cost per year, based on how many people you got on the list, so you know exactly what it costs the city. So option. So we can figure what money.
That's just month times.
Yeah, I know,
Well,
but,
sounds
yeah.
cool.
Then we have numbers of it, yeah. We'll have the numbers.
Simplify it
Yeah.
for an annual budget.
We want, since we have these,
Which one do you want to do it?
I've been emailing
Like next
back and forth.
Tuesday and Wednesday, which is the 22nd or 23rd
Of what?
of August?
I don't care.
Is that better?
Yeah.
What,
That's next week,
Yes.
Okay.
I was gonna say, next week, would,
next Tuesday,
Tuesday or Wednesday?
and that way we could
I
address
can't do
these.
it Tuesday,
on the Tuesday,
but I have to recuse myself anyway because Harold's on he's one of them that would benefit or.
you don't know.
Maybe I would. I can do
okay, you
it
wanna change the date to what date?
Do you want to do Tuesday,
Wednesday,
Wednesday?
the
Wednesday would be better for me.
Wednesday's better for me.
time,
You talking next Wednesday?
yeah,
Okay.
time,
23rd.
5 o'clock.
Does that work for most everybody, 5 o'clock?
Okay, should take about an hour.
You read fast.
That's all you can talk about, you can't bring anything else up, so that's.
Well, it gives me time to reread this thing another 40 times, I already read it 40 times. I got another 33 pages out there in my truck, and Paul and I looked at it, shook our heads and said, whoa.
Okay. Well, that wraps up, new business. We have open mic.
Wait,
I'm sorry.
okay. Only briefly, new business would be that SWIN lease. We want to let the audience know that we were approached by Southwestern Energy to lease a particular part of the city property because they have an interest in dealing in the Moorfield Shale. But after discussing it with Terry, because it's a lease, we're gonna have to put it out for bid. No offense to the SWIN representative, but I would like to encourage Jimmy and Lisa to go ahead and get that information out so that can be done and so it can be brought back to us next month.
Yeah, okay.
That's a good thing. I mean, there's some interest in drilling, so
Yeah.
that's more money if it's productive. And I've been guaranteed by the SWIN representative it's gonna be a gusher.
If you drill in the wrong place out there, really be a gusher.
Smell bad too.
Thank you, Paul. Open mic. Do we have any announcements?
Mayor, I wanted to say that Paula and I went last Saturday to Fairfield Bay and we registered folks for the urban deer hunt. Those dates are September 1st through February, through the end of February, I believe. And we had a successful turnout for that, and so that was helpful. And Casey and I are gearing up for, and other council members also, gearing up for the After Dark in the Park, the zombie walk and the events that are going to take place the weekend before Halloween in October. So we are, of course, looking for vendors to do the trunk or treating in the park. So if anyone wants to participate in that, we'll have a Facebook campaign going soon, but I can be reached at my office. It's Rebecca Prince at 362-5809. If you want to serve as a vendor, then give me a call, and we'd love to have you show up and help us trick or treat with our kids.
And you'll only have, what, 20 or 30 people show up?
I think
It was, I think it was the largest event the city's ever had.
it was pretty
It was
amazing, and
amazing.
we're super excited. The folks at First Baptist Church are going to be hosting their carnival on the same night again, which worked out beautifully for all of us last year, and it was just a really fun weekend evening for the kids in our community. So we're excited that they'll be doing that the same night as we have our event, and folks can just go back and forth, and that's exciting.
Gonna have the carriage ride again?
Well, that's at Christmas time. I don't think we want to ride carriages at Halloween.
You don't wanna give the zombies a ride?
No, zombies have to walk. Zombies have to walk.
And again, we have the pickleball tournament tomorrow and Saturday.
Tomorrow and Saturday.
And we have people from Tennessee, Missouri,
Florida.
Mississippi, Florida,
Oregon.
and
Oh, my
Oklahoma.
And we had one Oregon.
Oregon, yeah.
Wow.
You said 130?
Yeah, we have 130. We started 3 years ago with only like 18 of them playing.
Yeah.
And our first tournament, we had 70. Last year, we had 89. This year, we have 127.
Wow.
We're using all,
Pickleball.
when we had to put down 4 courts, so I had to actually add 4 more courts.
Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah, tomorrow will be from 8:30.
It's Friday, Saturday.
Yeah. We played singles today, but the majority is going to be tomorrow and Saturday.
What time did you say?
8:30 to 5 tomorrow, and then 8:30 to 6 on Saturday.
But it's quick. And also at the center, the community center, the Health and Safety Expo will be September 14th. And I believe in the Red Cross gonna be there
Yes,
for
Red Cross will be there.
taking blood. Okay, great. So,
And I'd like to say thank you to Rodney Watson for putting his money and his time and effort where he said he would.
Yep.
He's responsible for the way the Main Street looks right now with the planters, et cetera. And you will see Jimmy and him, Chad Evans and some others on Tuesday night picking up trash,
I saw
spraying
them.
weeds.
This past week down in West Main.
Yep, they've done all that. Now that conflicts with my bowling schedule. That's why
Ah.
I'm helping, but I do mine during the day all
So
the
what
time.
group was
But it looks great. And they're the ones
Lewis
that did
Lee,
Main
they're about
What, is it
15 to 20,
just
that's
people getting together? Or
just people getting
At
together. and-
6:30 courthouse, meet there, and then Rodney basically says, you go here, you go here, you go here.
On Tuesday
Great deal.
nights at 6:30 on Cersei Street, south of the courthouse.
I'm thinking about giving him a
all go
list of
different directions.
this list we have that, of properties that need attention, you know?
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
But it's really working, and it's just wonderful that we have such a community where we have volunteers like this. And it's been hot and it's been wet, but you'll notice that, you know, coming across the little dike and even Broadway, where we have lots of trash, that things are
You got
starting
the Toluca, the
starting to-
intersection. out there.
Toluca did it, and we're getting some different industries and businesses to adopt part of their road or part of the highway. So if we can all do our share, then we'll have a beautiful community.
And where are you meeting on Tuesday evening?
6:30 at the courthouse.
At the courthouse, south
okay.
side of the courthouse, yeah. We'll have buckets and pickers and whatever, and garbage bags for you.
Foxborough?
Yeah.
Off the road.
Anybody wanna just, Camp, anything? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.